The Apostle Paul wrote in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 9 through 12, "But concerning brotherly love, no need that I should write to you, for you yourselves are taught by God to love one another. And indeed, you do so toward all the brethren who are in all Macedonia. But we urge you, brethren, that you increase more and more, that you also aspire to lead a quiet life, to mind your own business, and to work with your own hands, as we commanded you, that you may walk properly toward those who are outside, and that you may lack nothing." Colossians chapter 3, verses 23 and 24, here in the application section of that great letter, here the Holy Spirit, through Paul's pen, once again says, "Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord, and not for men, knowing that from the Lord you will receive the inheritance as your reward, for you are serving the Lord Christ." 1 Corinthians 10:31, "So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of God." There are a lot of speakers, big names, especially in a lot of charismatic circles, who very often sound like they're denigrating the normal day in and day out working life of people. You'll hear people say things such as, "I knew that I was intended for much more than just a regular job. I knew that the Lord had something much bigger for me than to just go to work and pay my bills and diaper the kids and get them on time to their practices and things like that." And I heard things like that a lot when I was younger, and books that I read that were popular in Christian circles really made you feel almost guilty if you had a quote unquote regular job and didn't engage in some kind of full-time ministry work or do something in your local church that was a particular service to the Lord, etc. And what we really need to recover is the biblical doctrine of calling and vocation. The Reformation really helped to recover that sacred truth. Notice what 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 11, really Paul applying here the great truths that he's been spelling out in the earlier chapters of 1 Thessalonians, here nearing the end of it, because 1 Thessalonians is 5 chapters long. So 1 Thessalonians 4:11, he says he's encouraging them to aspire to lead a quiet life, to mind your own business, and to work with your own hands as we commanded you, that you may walk properly toward those who are outside, and that you may lack nothing. You know, what's amazing to me is in those early centuries of the church, and I read this in a book on missiology by Kenneth Scott Latourette, who wrote a big, huge 2-volume church history set that I worked through many years ago. Latourette makes the point in his book on the history of the expansion of Christianity that there were no superstar evangelists in the first 3 centuries. Outside of the apostles, the church didn't have celebrity evangelists and people with super charismatic personalities. Christian people took to heart what these passages said. Whatever your calling is, whatever kind of work that you do, stay in that calling and do it for the glory of God. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 17, "Only let each person lead the life that the Lord has assigned to him and to which God has called him. This is my rule in all the churches."